Good morning, everyone. It might be the afternoon for you since you're in the maybe eastern part of the of the time zones. My name is Joel Santini. I'm the director of this institution, which is a grouping of higher education institutions in France. And this webinar is designed to help you and provide you with all the information needed for you to contemplate and to plan a training program with a degree awarding program in France in science and engineering. We're going to start the meeting right now. Yes, Guillaume?
Yes, so the meeting will be recorded. Uh, and I'm taking a look, sorry. Yes, it's already been recording, so that's perfect. So we can start already.
So the
Thank you.
information will be available for you later if you need so. I'm going to start the presentation by a short slide showing the structure of the French higher education system to help you position yourself in the system. Coming from the secondary schools, the scheme is starting from the top. So as you finish your secondary school, you can enter a Bachelor of Science and Engineering in the 3 years program in Science and Technology. And this 3 years program will then give you the possibility to enter then into a 2 years program leading to a Master of Science and Engineering degree. Of course, you can either go for a bachelor in 3 years or enter the system after the bachelor and then get the master in 2 years, or you can also plan to have the 5 years altogether, 3 plus 2 altogether, leading, of course, to the Master of Science in Engineering. After you finish this 5 years or 3 plus 2, you can of course get into a specialized more training, which is may consist into a 1 year postmaster degree, which is a level of specialization in one area of business and industry, or you can have a doctoral studies for 3 years, leading to a PhD in science and engineering. Of course, if you plan to have this program, you need to have a scholarship, and because now it is compulsory to have a scholarship to plan for these doctoral studies, and this will need another 3 years after you finish the master degree in science and engineering. So let me give you the objective of our consortium is since we are a grouping of science and engineering institutions, our main objective, sorry, is to help international and French students to perform their study abroad project in science engineering through a degree awarding program. In parallel to this training program, of course, you can access a Path to Success program, which will help you to first be welcome in the country and taking care of all the logistic questions that may arise during and before the arrival in France. You can, of course, get some language training and support for this acquisition of the language in French and also in English, of course. And then also you can have a cultural and methodological coaching throughout this program, and particularly during the first year, which is proposed in parallel to the training itself. Let me show you what are the institutions that are part of the consortium. You have the list of them on the left of the slide, and you have the position of all these institutions across the country. That means that you can choose which is the institutions that are adapted to your project, or you can, of course, take into account the position in the country of these different institutions, because you've heard from some other friends that such or such part of the country is nice to live, and you will of course find out that the vast majority of these institutions are located in the Paris area, giving you, of course, the possibility to visit thoroughly the capital of the country. If you go to the next slide, these institutions are covering all areas of science and technology. As you can see, some keywords are provided here on the slide, and they cover all areas, going anywhere from biology to civil engineering, automotive, energy, architecture, chemistry, mathematics. Of course, computer science is a major component of the programs provided here in the diversity of the programs available. You will find out that most of the institutions are specialized in one area or another, and then giving you the opportunity to really get a very advanced training in any of these fields of science and technology. Now, once you have the project to entertain a major training program in France, you can find out easily which one is corresponding to your project. See, what you have on the slide is a copy of the homepage of the website. It has a search engine, and in inserting the keywords on the screen, you will find out which are the institutions which are corresponding to your project. So you will find very easily that you have many possibilities that are offered by the system and by the diversity of institutions which are available in the consortium. And of course, you will be able to apply, and we will get into a minute how to apply and which is the interest of such a portal. The main interest is that in filling in one single application, your application will be visible, will be considered by all the institutions, all the programs, and then you will be able to touch the specialists which are recruiting for each of the institutions. That means that you can have access to all the institutions at the same time. So the main interest in having this system of one application which is available for all the programs is that you save a significant time and of course a significant amount of money as well, because you only fill in one single application for all the programs and all the institutions. Of course, your application will be considered by the application that you might have selected, but it will be also considered by all of them. Of course, you can pre-select any of them corresponding to the ones that you know, what you've heard about, but it's not compulsory. You may just apply and have your application be considered by all the institutions at the same time. And then after that, you will receive several offers. These offers are either pre-selected programs and of course others possibility. Over the years, we have seen that many applicants receive at least one offers, and this figure is very high, since you can see on the slide that 90% of them receive at least one offer, and it's very frequent that all the students who have applied receive many offers, amongst which you will have to choose. The other interest for you and the other benefit is that you receive all the offers at the same time. That means that you don't have to wait for one or the other reply that you maybe know or hope to have an offer from, but you will receive all the offer at the same time. That means that they have a common schedule that they will respect and have you to make your choice in a very total knowledge of all the possibilities that are offered to you. Your once you have finished once you have received your offers and you've made your choice, then you will have to complete your application again concerning the visa application through the Études in France portal, which is offered by the authorities of the French education in your country. And through the admissions part of the portal, you will just go on the visa application part of the application itself. Of course, you have an extended schedule to compare to Études en France in terms of time for you to select. And of course, all in all, the conditions which are offered to you to complete the selections are more favorable because they give you more time. You have more choice in the hand to be able to choose which one from the offers that you have received you prefer. The application process is quite simple. We have offering 4 sessions of applications during the year. At the moment, we are in the middle of the second session, which has started in January. Oh, this one might have been ended already because I see that March is the third one. Yes, we are in the middle of the third one. Sorry. These 4 sessions are on schedule across the year. They start early in August to be able to enter in the institutions in the September following this date, and you have the possibility to apply as of August. But now the third session is in the progress, and you have until March the 31st to be able to apply, which is the deadline for this session. But after that, you will have another possibility of a fourth session. Of course, the results of the applications associated with the March 31st session will be before the beginning of the fourth session for you to be able to apply. So once you have completed the application on the platform, on the website, you have the application which will be thoroughly reviewed by our team here in order to validate for the completeness of this application dossier by N+I. You might have in the process, and you will have in the process, interviews for you to be able to share your project with the interviewer. And then you have the results after that. For the third session, which is currently in progress, you will have the results by April the 24th. Once you have the offers that you will have that you will receive, of course, you have some time to make your choice and then enter into the enrollment process. So the quite simple process, again, very beneficial for you for the possibility to have many applications at the same time, and very thorough process, which will lead you to have an offer um, from the institutions, and also fourth time a year since we have 4 sessions in the year. So remember, the third one is in progress currently, and you have until March the 31st to be able to complete this application. Let's have a word on the Path to Success packages, which are, as I say in the beginning, accompanying the training program. The first part of this Path to Success package is really before you start the training program itself in the institution. It comprises a number of services, including, of course, welcome, personal assistance, and personal welcome at the port of entry in France, with a number of services until they take you directly to the institution where you will spend the years of your training program. If you have selected a French-speaking program, then you will be offered to have a language support, which can take different possibilities, which has different possibilities in terms of length and thoroughness of training in French language. and that is comprised of the first one of this package is comprised of an 8 week stay in a family with full immersion of into the French culture, and then you will be able to reach the required level of French language command to be able to follow properly the program in the institution. And to find to in the final possibility for you to take as a path to success package is to follow one full semester of methodology training, which includes a variety of French teaching courses, but also some courses which will ensure that you have the appropriate level of command, of course, in science and technology in the field that you have selected for the training program. And as you see, the three packages scheme can be kind of blended into one full program, which we call as a foundation year, which will take then you to be able to follow this one full year before you start the program, either 2 or 3 years, depending of your level of entry into the system. So that's basically what these Path to Success packages are, in addition to the training program itself, for which you will find all the details on the website. They all are displayed in correspondence, of course, of the institution which are offering these different programs. And of course, each year and each unit is determined in terms of content and duration and number of credits which are associated to these different programs. So that pretty much closes the part of the presentation which I was intended to share with you, and we would be pleased to have any questions from you, depending on either the application program or the program themselves, for which again you will find all the details on the website, and depending, of course, in the field that you have selected for your personal project. So thank you for your attention. Please share your questions on the chat. We'll be, of course, very pleased to answer them. And we look forward to having applications from you, of course, and to have this application be finalized with your arrival in the French institution anywhere in the country for your personal project for training in either bachelor or master in science and technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan, for your question. Nathan is a French-American student. So he asked his question in French, so I will answer him in French. Donc, il est franco-américain. Il est arrivé aux États-Unis à l'âge de 14 ans. Et donc, il est dans sa quatrième année de bachelor en sciences et en génie mécanique en Californie, à California State University, à Los Angeles. Et donc, du coup, il a des questions sur la façon dont le programme N plus I pourrait l'aider à trouver une école d'ingénieur en France. Donc, c'est ce qu'on vient de présenter. Et plus précisément, comment se passeraient les choses pour moi, sachant que je possède la citoyenneté française, ainsi qu'un niveau B2 certifié en DELF, mais sans aucun diplôme français.
C'est plutôt simple, effectivement. Ça correspond à quelqu'un qui a un niveau déjà de bachelor. Euh, alors, j'ai bien compris que il n'a pas le diplôme, c'est ça, hein?
Donc, sa quatrième
Il
année de
est en sa
bachelor.
quatrième année de bachelor, donc il peut tout à fait postuler et être pris sur titre dans un établissement qui correspond au domaine qu'il a choisi, dans le domaine scientifique qu'il a choisi. Et après 3 années de formation, puisqu'en fait il est éligible au même titre que quelqu'un qui a un niveau de bachelor en France, même s'il n'a pas le diplôme, mais s'il l'aura, ce sera encore mieux. Donc il pourra postuler et avoir des offres pour un séjour, une durée de 3 années, euh, en entrant sur le système. Parce que je doute qu'il soit éligible. Alors, s'il a le bachelor complet, il pourra être éventuellement éligible pour 2 années, mais il
C'est
faudra
ça.
qu'il ait le bachelor. Mais
Voilà,
s'il
donc
l'a
c'est pour ça
pas,
que je,
ce sera 3 années.
pour ça que j'affiche là le schéma un peu global de
Hmm.
l'ensemble des offres par rapport au niveau d'entrée.
Hmm.
Donc, quel que soit le niveau d'entrée de l'étudiant, vous pouvez candidater si vous êtes dans le domaine des sciences et technologies. Vous pouvez candidater sur N+I. Et vous voyez, selon que vous avez, comme a dit Georges, le bachelor ou pas, vous allez rentrer, vous insérer dans un certain niveau par rapport à la formation que vous souhaitez faire. Si vous avez un bachelor, par exemple, vous êtes éligible au parcours en 2 ans, les 2 dernières années du cycle d'ingénieur. Et si vous êtes dans votre avant-dernière année, et vous ne faites pas la dernière année du bachelor, par exemple, eh bien, vous pouvez faire le cycle complet de 3 années en France et obtenir le diplôme d'ingénieur. Et c'était la question aussi de Nathan. Il disait, mais j'ai pas de diplôme français. Il n'y a pas de
Par équivalence.
problème. Voilà, par équivalence. Tout à fait.
C'est comme j'avais présenté au départ, parce que le bachelor français se fait en 3 ans, alors que le bachelor américain, il se fera en 4 ans. Donc ça vous donne une possibilité de rentrer un petit peu plus tard dans le système.
Aussi également, c'est une
Ah,
reconnaissance,
hmm.
voilà, par les écoles qui vont étudier votre dossier, et ça se fait très bien puisqu'on le fait avec tous les étudiants internationaux de tous les pays depuis plus de 25 ans, donc il n'y a aucune inquiétude là-dessus. Aude, je crois que tu lèves la main, donc n'hésite pas à prendre la parole.
Merci Guillaume. Je voulais également préciser que le réseau N+I s'adresse exclusivement aux étudiants internationaux de nationalité autre que la nationalité française, puisque pour les étudiants français, il existe une procédure spécifique et il sera donc nécessaire de candidater au réseau N+I en utilisant le passeport et la nationalité américaine pour pouvoir bénéficier des admissions dédiées aux étudiants internationaux.
Oui, tout à fait, tu as raison de préciser ce point, c'est un petit peu franco-français, mais Aude a tout à fait raison là-dessus, ouais, c'est un point important. Donc, Nathan, j'espère qu'on a répondu à ta question. N'hésite pas à nous recontacter si tu as besoin et nous écrire aussi sur l'adresse qu'on a indiquée sur le site. So, just to summarize in English for the participants, uh, if you don't have a French degree, of course, you can apply to Network and Plus. And considering your entry level, you can join, as you can see on this graphic, the training programs, depending on your degree, or if you don't have a bachelor, for example, you can join the complete training program of master program in 3 years. If you are studying today your bachelor, but if you don't have yet the degree, you can join the master in 3 years. And if you have a bachelor, you can join here, for example, the master program in 2 years because the bachelor will be recognized as the first year of the 3 years required for the masters in France. And of course, after secondary education, so if you don't even started yet your bachelor studies, you can join also a master program or a bachelor. So the bachelor will be in 3 years in France in general, and you can join also a program in 5 years, as George explained earlier.
We're showing on the slide here the possibility in blue to have a foundation year is really to illustrate the fact that in some personal cases, either for language reasons or other technical reasons, you might need to have one more year, which is required by the institution to enter the program, which is shown then as yellow on the slide. There was a question on the number of vacancies. Yeah. Uh, I can answer this one. It really depends on the institution, because if one institution has more or less completed all the possibilities of vacancies in the first session, then of course there will be less vacancies for the next ones. But on the other hand, if one institution has not completed its own vacancies for international students in the previous sessions, then of course there will be more vacancies available. So it's difficult to respond generally. It really depends on the institutions. It's institution on the case by case basis. And just as an addition argument to this question, another point is because since since all the institutions are looking at your application, this is the interest of having that system, because if you would apply only to one institution or two institutions, if these institutions would have completed its vacancies in the beginning of the sessions, then there will be no more. So the interest of having this application is that you access other institutions that might not have completed their vacancies further in the process. So that's another interest for you to have this application with the multi possibilities featured in.
There is a question about scholarships, and George, I will show this slide maybe to if you want to explain
Yes.
it a bit.
Yeah. Well, of course, the tuition in terms of cost, there are two major um, two major elements of cost which are needed from you. The first one is the tuition fee, which is depending on the institution and on the program. And the second one is the living cost. Now, in order to be able to face these costs, you would have to have scholarships or resources available. The number of student benefits that are available in France for students. First, you have the principle that at the moment, French and foreign students receive the same type of benefits, which is very interesting for you since there is no difference made between whether you're French or not. The second one is that in public institutions, the tuition fees are highly subsidized by the French government, well, which is in fact the taxpayer which pays that. So that means that the tuition fees are much lower than they should be normally if the institution would not be public. So the public institutions are very subsidized by the government. The third item is that the government is taking part of in from the cost in the cost of your housing. There is a system by which you get reimbursed for approximately 30% or even more in some cases of the amount of your rent for your accommodation by the government. And this is taking place after a few months once you've started your installation in France. So that is very interesting because in the cost of living, the accommodation is the major part of it. And to give you some examples, it can go anywhere from 250 euros per month, depending on the place where you are taking your studies, or much higher, up to 500 to 600 in some places, particularly in Paris, which is the most expensive city in the country. Then you have access to hostels, which are government-run housing hostels at a much lower cost than you will have to pay if you go to the public general accommodation opportunities. So these are called the CRUs, which are the national system for student housing. So, and again, having access to that gives you the possibility to have a lower cost for accommodation. You have the possibility to have to work during the internships, and the internships are quite significant during the programs. If you take a 3-year program to lead to a master degree in science and engineering, you would spend at least 12 to 16 months of internships. and these internships you get a stipend for that, which is in the range of 600 euros per month. So you multiply 600 euros by 16, you get a quite interesting figure of what the amount of money that you will get for your rewarded internships in companies and corporations. And then to finish with the advantages and the benefits which are offered to students, you have access to a quite large number of services as student at a lower cost, lower rates, such as library, museums, cafeteria, restaurants, and a number of things. Of course, depending on the regions where you will spend your 2 or 3 years. This item of support may depend from one region to another. And in addition to that, which is not showing on the slide, that in some regions, the local governments, which is different from the national government, are providing support to international students, which either is a certain amount of money given during the length of your studies, or lower rates of costs for services that you can access locally. So you see, all in all, you get a quite large number of benefits which are available, and you can, of course, apply to national scholarships such as Eiffel, or since we have some American students in France, but I think it'll be a little later to apply for the Fulbright support. But nevertheless, this is existing, and it's in the case of Franco-American exchanges. They're available under the Fulbright system.
Thank you, George. There's a question that I've seen a couple of times about the working after your studies in France. Is that possible? How does it work? If you want to say a few words about it.
Can you again
Is it possible to work? How does it work? How does the work permit is
okay,
organized
okay.
after graduation?
So after you finish your study program and you get your degree, of course you can apply to a job, just as the nationals, and you have a certain time, which is two times 1 year to do it, and to find a job. Of course, once you have a job, then you have to enter into a new type of visa, and in order to be able to stay in the country. But there is a need, because the number of engineers and scientists which are trained every year in France, which is in the range of 50,000 students, is not enough comparing to the needs that we have in this country, because not only there is significant growth to be able to service with engineers, but also a reasonable number of these students go abroad to find a job. So that lowers significantly the number of people who are available for jobs. So there is a very severe need of engineers in France, and the talents and the competencies are highly needed and appreciated in this country in all the fields of science and engineering.
We also have a question, I think it's interesting. Who can apply for an engineering institution in France, depending on the previous field of study? A student who was studying in mechanical, as long as you are in the field of science, technology, or mathematics in STEMs program, you can apply.
And more specifically for mechanical engineering, if this is the field of your specialization and this is the field of your interest, there are many institutions which have programs in mechanical engineering, and they're keen to have applicants to be interested in this domain, because there are very high needs in this field, because of development of industry, because of development of new technology, for example, with predictive build construction of different elements of one system, mechanical system. So this is, yes, this is one field of interest because it is of use in many industries, even if they're not specifically mechanical. The automotive industry, the aeronautics, the nuclear, all of this chemical engines industry, mechanical, electrical and mechanics, and robotics. All of these areas need mechanical engineers to contribute to developing new processes and new products.
The question is it possible to do a PhD directly from a master program? Just to say a few words about the way it works.
Well, depending on whether you have your master in France or in your country. But normally, yes, if you have a master in our country, then if this master is delivered by other higher education institution in the country or university, you can apply for a PhD. Your application needs to be accepted by the body to which you are presenting the application. And once it is accepted, then you have a 3-year contract with funding associated with the contract. So this is the important thing. So that's the reason why the application needs to be accepted, because a university or a higher institution is in science and technology cannot accept an applicant if they have not the associated funding for it. So it's saying the same thing in another way. It is compulsory to have funding to have a PhD to get into a PhD program. But now, if you have your own funding and this funding and the nature of this funding is accepted, for example, you have a national grant by your country. If this is accepted by the receiving institution in France, then of course this can work as well. But the funding needs to be secured during the whole duration of the PhD program, which is 3 years.
There was a question, yes, about language requirement, for example. I think it's a good question also, either in French or in English. You will see on our website, if you check training programs from the school, you will have information about the level in French required to get the degree, which is very important. And you have this information already, so you know what will be required for you once you will be in France and doing your study. And also, you have the information sometimes of language requirement to join the training program. So there is no general rules about level required to get an academic offer. So there is no level, in fact, to apply to Network N+I. You don't have a required level in English or in French. But of course, you will need a certain level in English and sometimes in French to get your degree. So you can't expect to be a fully beginner in English, for example. To do a study program in France, you will need a good level of English because you will be doing the same studies as the French, and the French student need to have a good level in English. And to get the degree, they need to have a specific level. Sometimes it's a B2 level in English.
And these packages are very useful. I tell you what, because even if you follow an English fully taught program, a fully English taught program, you will have to apply for internships. And when you apply to internships, since you are in France, you might well have the opportunity to join a French speaking a company which is only speaking French. So it is useful for you in this case to have a minimum level of command of French to be able to apply properly and to be able to be successful in your application to the internships. Because there are some companies in France who are hosting students who speak only English because they use English all the time. But there are some companies in France which are only speaking French, particularly with workers or technicians in the laboratories or in the factory. So in this case, it is for you necessary to have some basic level of knowledge of the French language.
Is there fees to apply? So answer is yes. You have 50 euros of opening file fees to pay during your process. It's here on this slide.
Except if you come from an institution which
Yeah.
has an agreement with our organization.
So there's a list of the member institution on our website. You can check for it, but usually, yes, you have to pay the opening file fees, and you will get an interview, which is also compulsory for your application procedure.